Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. In this video, something a little bit different today. We're going to take this opportunity to sort of sit and reflect on the season so far. So it's about halfway through the season. Round 14 has just gone. There's 27 rounds. Maybe I'm a week late, but that's neither here nor there. Um, so one of the things maybe for new players that you're not so familiar with is obviously when you go into your team, you get the field view. You can also get the list view. So it shows a lot of the stats of your players and your team, which can be handy. But there's also a history page. So if you use this, you'll see it gives you a bit of a round by round guide on things like the points, your round rank, your season rank, and also your team value. And then they're also listed on the table down this side here. And I guess it's a good opportunity to sort of look back and somewhat reflect on the season, how it's gone, and sort of try to take some pointers going into the back end of the season, but also I guess getting ready for next year. The other bit of useful information, you'll see it's got league results here on the right, but you also get access to your trade history. And so you can see I've made 28 out of 46 player trades that I've got available. I know people that have used more than that. But yeah, it goes through and you can see from the very start who you traded out in, that sort of thing. So it is really a good opportunity to sit and reflect. The one thing that would be really cool to have somewhere is your starting team lineup, just so you can look at yourself and wonder where it went wrong. But we can derive a lot of those from the trade outs in particular. But yeah, I guess if you have a look at my start, it was quite slow. So the first 3 weeks, not even getting within the top 40,000 in any given round, which left me, well, at my lowest 62,000 overall, but outside the top 50k, which was probably my worst ever start. What I put that down to was maybe a couple of last minute panic decisions, and not trusting my gut. But also, I guess I had spoken about at the start of the year. I think when I did initially look at the history of previous seasons, I talked about the fact that I haven't been the best at adapting to the rules and the new scoring system, which definitely seems to benefit centre wings a bit more. Um, so, yeah, I think the way I went about it was mostly correct, but there was definitely a couple of errors with those selections. But then, started to get a couple of nice round results and pushing up slowly through the ranks, and then again a couple of poor weeks there. Um, yeah, I can't exactly remember what was happening around that time. Might have to look at the trades for some more insight on that. I know some of my players were just, not scoring as well on those given weeks as well, and other players were going good. That sort of thing. There was a bit of a luck element to it, but that's part of the game. But then you can see there's definitely been a turnaround in the last sort of month or so. So from round 10, had those 4 sort of consecutive top 20k ranks. So we'll have a look at the trades around there too. I guess using a few boosts and stuff would have helped. And then last week was a little bit disappointing, but again, the trade plans didn't quite work out. There was a couple unfortunate injuries. Cleary, Fafita, that didn't help my side. But yeah, I guess one thing that has been good though is the team value. So it's currently at 15 million, which I don't think it's ever been that high in any of the previous seasons. I'll go back and have a look. Yeah, so like even last year when everyone thought we had more money than we could do with, it was still 13 and a half at most. I guess it was starting a little bit lower maybe. Yeah. So when you even that out, but even then it still feels like a lot of money. When I look at my team now, I've got next to no bottom dollar cheapies in there. I just don't need them. I've just got value everywhere. But yeah, I guess if we have a look at the trades, and we'll go through whether good or bad. So in the first round, I didn't do any trades. So after round one, you get unlimited trades, so there's no point. But round two, so going into round two, I traded out Jeremiah Nanai. He was sort of a player I was keen on because of his upside, but his base was really disappointing. So obviously just correcting a dud pick there. Went with Tohu Harris, which I think in hindsight was a good pick. He has had a bit of an injury. He's missed out a few weeks for us, but all in all, when he has been playing, he's been scoring really well. So, going for the upside pick of someone like a Nanite, who's you can see he's lost a heap of cash, also suspended. We could have saved a bit of money and gone with Tohu Harris. Don't mean to keep clicking on these people. So I think that was a good trade. Again, it was probably just a poor selection at the start of the year. And then Matt Burton to Adam Dewey. So the Bulldogs looked a bit slow to start with. Adam Dewey looked like, he was going to do a bit for the Tigers. In hindsight, that was obviously a bad trade. Burton, now that he's shifted to the 7, is looking good. Has dual position status, which would have been super helpful at the moment. Adam Dewey, obviously, going down with the ACL. You can't predict that. But again, probably another more of a panic trade. And one that I'd take back if I could. So this is somewhat out of order here. But round 3, we used our first boost. Got out of James Tedesco because he was going to leak a lot of cash, and I think that was a really good call. Just given how poor the Roosters have been in general this year. Got out of Val Holmes too, so this probably wasn't the best starting pick. I picked him as a goal-kicking centre winger with attacking upside. The Cowboys had a good draw to start the season, but I could have, looked at someone like a Lachlan Miller or Nick Meaney who played fullback, not in the centres. Centres do have that slightly more variable scoring. Fullbacks have, more opportunity to run the ball, get involved in attack because they often float both sides of the ruck and get involved in those backline movements. So if I had my time again, I wouldn't have gone with Val Holmes as my one gun centre wing. I would have probably gone a different direction with that. And Franklin Pele, so I can't remember if he was already out of the team by this point with that injury. But, it was a bit of a speculative pick. Like, had to try and find a cheap front row option that would maybe have a bit of upside. And, when he's on the field, he scores well. He just doesn't get the minutes. So, probably another dud pick. But thinking back, I don't know who I would have gone with to start anyway. But obviously getting on Jacob Preston, that was a massive win. Getting on the Hammer was a good option. I think I could have even got a better deal if I went for a Zarko. So maybe not quite the right trade. But I guess, just generally fading a Zarko for so long has been another mistake I've made this year. And Jacob Kiraz, he was obviously in form early, showing, all that attacking upside and work rate. We loved it. So I'm happy with those trades at the time. Still happy with them today. Like I said, maybe Zarko would have been better, but it is what it is. I guess also those trades helped facilitate the trade in round 4, which was to get Nicho Hynes in. So if Nicho Hynes was fit to go at the start of the season, I would have had him and Cleary in anyway. So it was always a play I was looking to make, was to get Hynes in when he was back and playing, not waiting till after the round 6 bye that they had. So I attacked that, and I'm pretty happy with that move. Loomy. So this was part of the brain fade that I had. I forget who else I did have in the side, but I had someone in the centre wing, and I also had Trent Liero. No, sorry, I didn't have Trent Liero. I think I had Jackson Ford. That's right. It saved me 100k, and I had a slightly more expensive. Might have even been Tyrell Sloan originally. Anyway, for whatever reason, I think it was the first game of the year the Storm were playing the Eels. It actually worked out that way. And for whatever reason, I panicked. I thought, oh, I really want to get Liera in. I think he's good value. I couldn't afford Katoa. I would have preferred Katoa, but I couldn't quite make it work. Um, and so then I was playing around with some options. I had Lumi Lumi in there. And then I went to trade to some other bottom dollar cheapy option who I don't know who it was because I can't see me trading any of them in. And yeah, it locked me out, and I was stuck with Lumi Lumi. He scored 18 in the first week and hasn't had looked back in since. So yeah, that was just a silly panic move. It's not the first year I've done that either. So I've got to stop tinkering with my side so late. Just got to sit back and take it as it comes. It would have worked out better, as I said. I did initially have Jackson Ford, and as you can see, the next week I actually brought him in. But yeah, I guess in terms of the trades, they were both good trades because Sloan did go on that bit of a run, but the starting pick was dumb. So then round 5, Adam Dewey was injured, had to go. Brought in Josh Schuster early, which, good, bad, who knows really. What it did do was it freed up some money to upgrade Liera to Dylan Brown. So, good trade. We knew he was going to cover the origin periods and so on. Maybe not so sure now with the court case. When I'm recording this, it's still a bit up in the air whether he's going to play round 15 against the Dogs. And Matt Dury, so it was, I guess, a toss-up between him and Bryce Cartwright. And again, another one I got wrong. I should have gone Bryce Cartwright, but they both had a chance of sort of, there was one edge spot up for grabs. But I guess I probably didn't think enough into the actual who plays on which side. I think that was the telling factor was when Madison came back in, he was playing on the right edge, which meant Bryce Cartwright was free to do as he pleased on the left. So again, a little bit more research and a little bit more thought into it would have made for a better pick. Jackson Ford though was a good pickup. Glad we've had him in the side. So all things considered, I think they're good trades. But again, the theme here is just trying to fix up dumb starting picks. So round 6, I'm not quite sure what I was doing here. Hopgood out to Marzu. Well, actually, it's probably Hopgood out to Johns. And so trying to get Marzu in, which, upgrading the hammer. Yeah, don't hate it. I guess you look at their averages now, it's probably a pretty good trade. Hopgood down to Johnso to make a bit of money to make that happen. In hindsight, should have held Hopgood. I guess at the time it looked like he was reverting to the bench, sort of like what he was doing at Parramatta what he was doing at Penrith. But yeah, I guess when you've got players like Ryan Madison, that's a bit injury prone, that sort of thing. Yeah, probably wasn't the smartest move. So yeah, so one good trade, one dud trade there. Round 7, so finally got out of Brandon Smith. Unfortunately, went to Sonny Luke. Bad trade. But I was able to go up from Sean Kepi to Payet Haas, so that was a nice upgrade. Sean Kepi, I guess, was that sort of speculative pick, dual position, fairly cheap. In hindsight, probably not the right pick to start with. So round 8, so another trade boost. What's that? My third trade boost? Yeah, third trade boost already. So getting Carraz out with his injury, he had to. Getting Garrick in was nice. Khan Pereira to Manu, nice. And I guess Warbrick to Buller, this is probably almost trade of the year. I did go early on Buller, to be fair. This was his debut game in round 8. But he hasn't gone too far wrong since then. And the Tigers as a whole have lifted up. So, I think there were 3 really good trades. Obviously, the Kiraz to Garrick one was out of necessity. But, being able to go Khan, Pereira and Warbrick to Manu and Buller, is pretty nice, I think. So round 9, Cam Murray. So we sort of started to lose faith in him and went down to, we're actually probably actually went to Nicara. So went up to Nicara. Really great trade. He was still essentially a super pod back then. I know he's going to get more popular now in the back half of the season, but glad I've already got him. I think he might actually be a bit cheaper than that now, so it might have been a slightly dud pick in that sense. I can't click on them anymore. That's okay. And Jack Johns, that was a bit of a busted pick. We just needed a downgrade option for whatever reason. Probably didn't even need it when you calculate the numbers week on week, and especially you look at the team now. But Wiramu Greg, that was a really nice pick. Unfortunately, he's now injured and out for the year. But at the time, it was a bit of a speculative one, but it worked out. So, I think that was a pretty good trade. Round 10, trading Marzu out. Not sure that was the best pick or best idea. Did want to get on Tyrone Peachy though. So I guess what that trade allowed us to do was to get out of Sonny Luke, who made us a grand total of $3,000, and upgraded to Reece Robson. So, um, yeah, if there was another way, we might have been able to do it a bit better. But Stefano up to Lemuelu, I guess a really nice trade there as well. Lemuelu's obviously scored well for us, made us a bit more money, offers us a bit more flexibility. And Stefano, he made a bit of money, but was has sort of stalled around that 400k mark. Round 11, so we just wanted to get out of Tyrell Sloan. So he did what he wanted. He did what we needed him to do, which was make some money. So we cashed him out for Fiernay. In hindsight, that was the wrong pick. We should have gone early on Billy Smith. We fixed that up next week. And also got into Harry Edwards. So cashed out Taruva, got Harry Edwards in, which, has worked out really nicely for us. So, yeah, obviously we were a week late, missed out on that massive score and massive price rise, but, he still made us 100 and something K in that time. He's going to give us some good buy coverage, so ticks on those trades. Round 13, so we got out of Tommy Turbo with that injury, and also got out of Billy Smith because we just needed a number. So again, sort of we've wasted three trades there. Ideally, would have been nice to be able to go in one, but we didn't back Edwards in his third game, for example. So that's fine. But brought in Ponga, who got us a score in round 13. Bit of money, but now that Turbo's back, might not be the best trade. And Jermaine Asako, we got sick of watching him just score points on us, so we got him in, and so far it's only been a couple of weeks, but that's been a great trade. And then last round, we just did the one trade. We got out of Katoa. We banked his money. He's lost 40k, I think, this week, so that's good. We did want to get Jacob Kraz in, but with the late withdrawal of injury, we didn't have too many other options. So we brought in a bottom dollar Blake Wilson. Only scored us 20 points. Probably shouldn't have had him on field, to be fair. So probably too early to call that trade, but I think, in the circumstances, I think that's going to work out to be a good trade. So, just looking at this, like I said, it offers that insight about, I think our trading's been good, and that's been proven by, the uptick in round positions and round scores. So you can see a couple of 1300s there and 1200. But this is the problem: is these, dud starting picks. So, as I said, some of the stuff that we did at the start of the year, panic trading like in the last minutes before the first game. Don't do that. Back your gut. Jackson Ford was a good option. Tyrell Sloan, I think, was the other one, so he was a good option. Um, things like Val Holmes, picking him because he kicks goals. There's goal kickers, there's fullbacks that kick goals that were available for much cheaper. You know, Trading out early players like Hopgood, Burton. Um, there was another one, Marzu. So, just sort of not or being too afraid of losing a bit of money um, rather than, saving a trade. I guess, another example here. um, yeah, so there's definitely room for improvement. I guess if we look at the team real quick, back on the field. So, if we look at the players that we've held all season, so we've had Grant all season, Payne Haas, Joey Tarpany, I'm pretty sure we've had all season. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I started with those two picks in the front row. And for feeder all season, that's been awesome. They've all been traded in. Had Cleary all season, probably going to go this week. Had Nickel Clock start all season, and Paul Alamotti, he's still hanging in. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players that we've held all season. So I guess maybe a takeaway from that is we don't necessarily have to lock in a bunch of keepers. I think about one per position seems about right when you balance it out. Um, and then I guess build your team with a bit more value around that, but obviously trying to do it in a smart way. Um, other things I guess I've noticed this season. Lots of value, as I said, my team value is ridiculous. If we look through it, other than Blake Wilson, every other player is at least worth 390,000, which is almost double the base price. So anytime I want to downgrade these guys to a bottom dollar enough, I'm banking 200k, which you stack on top of, say, Harry Edwards becomes someone like, well, I've already got Tohu Harris, so you could upgrade to Ruben Cotter. Or, you could upgrade Jackson Ford pretty much to someone like a Tino. Um, you know, there's plenty of money I can extract out of the team to build my final team um, in the back half of the season, which is really awesome. I've got like 5 massive prices prices there in the centre wing. So if we just downgrade one of them to enough, we then have a heap of money to distribute elsewhere. But I think this year's been a pretty unique opportunity. Obviously, the 17th club coming in, the Dolphins, created a lot of that value. So guys like Asako, Lemuelu, the Hammer, they were all severely underpriced. Playing on the bench or not even getting on the bench, as the case may be, for their other clubs like the Cowboys, the Broncos in Osako's case. So just getting an opportunity meant there was going to be value. But also players like Nickel Clockstad. So the new concussion rules and teams looking to play a back on the bench for cover, I think has created a few opportunities. Um, so yes, I guess next year sort of looking for those sort of targets that have moved clubs to get more opportunity. And if it looks like they're getting favour with the coach at the start of the year, you put him in and you get value. Same with the forwards like Jackson Ford, for example. As I said, the big regret was trading him last minute. Didn't work out. I had to lick my wounds and bring him in. Um, yeah, guys like Harry Edwards. So just keeping an eye out on those guys that are outside the top 30 but clearly look like they belong. Jacob Carraz was the same last year for the Bulldogs. I know the Bulldogs have done a bit of that because of their salary cap issues. Um, and it seems like most teams are pretty well sorted on that front now. So whether those opportunities arise in the future remains to be seen. Um, but yeah, it's just using these tools to think about the team and how it's going is really useful. In terms of moving forward, as I said, we've got a lot of money here. This week is a big trading week. I won't sort of commit to any trades until the preview video, which will come out in the near future. But I've still got 18 trades, which is not too bad. Talking to a mate today, he's already down to 14 trades, which was a bit concerning. But I know he is much higher up in the overall rank than me too. So that gives me hope that if I have more trades in the back end, that I can move up in rank quite quickly. And I think my team value was much better than him too. So I've done all right in that front, just not the scoring on field. But yeah, in terms of the plan, I think, Reece Robson is going to become Reed Marnie after round 17. And then, Grant and Marnie for the run home, I'd be pretty happy with. In the front row, I'm definitely targeting Big Tina. I think him and Haas are the two standout options in the front row. So if I can have them, and then, probably Tarpany would be third. So I think Tohu Harris could be on the chopping block sooner rather than later. In the second row, so I've got Fafita, Nikora, and I'm happy to hold Preston on the bench. So probably looking to upgrade Jackson Ford into someone else. Oh, I should have mentioned as well, Wiramu Greg's out for the season, so he probably will get traded. Whether that's down to someone like a Finu is the most likely option, but I guess if he can become Big Tino, that would be amazing. Harry Edwards, I'm banking on him becoming a dual position option that I can flip between front row, second row. So yeah, so it's just looking at upgrading Jackson Ford to a keeper. It could be someone like a Jermaine Hopgood, perhaps. He's the obvious name that comes off the top of my head. But yeah, there could be someone like a Kaloa Matangi. Or the other one, if I do decide to get on, is someone like a John Bateman. Someone I could be pretty happy to hold for the rest of the year. The halfbacks, so at the moment, obviously Cleary and Hines was going to be set and forget. But Cleary is going to go. I'll be honest, I'm not 100% convinced on who I'm going to bring in. I did say in the stock market video that I'm leaning towards Sean Johnson, and I can sort of see that happening. But yeah, there's also part of me that just wants to bring Matt Burton in as my guy, So I haven't made a clear decision on that. That's definitely a head versus heart sort of deal. In the 5'8" position, so we've got to wait and see what the future holds for Dylan Brown. But I do have the luxury of options like Schuster, Kalen Ponga that can swing in there. So if I do have to get out of Dylan Brown, I don't necessarily have to go straight to a Cody Walker or a Cam Munster. I can, bring in someone like a Tom Travojevic back in, um, you know, upgrade that second row spot. Um, that could be my ticket to Big Tino, for example. Um, but yeah, it's just nice to have those flexibility options. Speaking of which, the centre wing. So I guess I've got Garrick, who I'll just move into the team here. So I've got these four plus Joey Manu, who could consider a fifth gun. So I'm pretty well stocked in the centre wing. Tyrone Peachy's only got a shelf life of a couple of weeks before I move him on. And that could just be straight downgrading to enough to still allow that swing with Lemuelu. I do need to get him into the second row though somehow. And Paul Alamotti could be the same sort of thing after round 19. I could just nuff him out, and that would then give me 5 centre wings that I can rotate through. The Dolphins may have a bye, which might create an issue, but we can always cross that bridge when we get to it. And then the fullbacks, so Dream Buller, I think I'm going to keep him at least until round 19 is done, and then reassess whether I need to get Teddy in or whether he's doing well enough on his own. I can save a trade. But I'm pretty sure I do want to get Tommy Turbo back in. So yeah, a bit of that could happen this week. You know, it could be something like Birdo, Turbo, and maybe somehow Tino, maybe through Jackson Ford. But we'll just have to work it out. But yeah, I guess that's the state of the union when it comes to the team. I guess the other thing to talk about in terms of the state of the union is the channel in general. So um, I guess the big thing with that is actually kicking off the channel this year. Um, and it's been, even more amazing than I could have imagined. Uh, Last count, I was at 60 subscribers, which is, mind blowing. I thought I'd do well if I got 10 subscribers to the channel. I'm just a bloke sitting on my couch for most of the time, just in front of the laptop, talking about SuperCoach. But yeah, it's been really great to connect with other people and talk about it, share my thoughts, and obviously get some feedback on those. Um, and yeah, so that's been really great. In terms of the plan moving forward, I think the sort of schedule I've got now is pretty okay. With the reviews on Monday, get the stock market video out by Wednesday. It does take a fair bit of work to collate the data and set up the pictures and stuff. But it's good fun. Like I said, I really enjoy that content from the SuperCoach with DR AFL SuperCoach channel. So I thought if I could bring something like that to the NRL space, that would be really useful for some people. And then obviously the round previews as well. Um, I guess they've been getting some good reactions and stuff as well. In saying that, in a couple of weeks' time, must be around round 17, 18, if my maths is correct. Um, I will actually be over in Europe for 2 weeks. So I have experimented with, I think it was the AFL preview this week, because NRL Supercoach channel, not a lot of people watch the AFL stuff I do. It's not that great anyway. I'm just ripping off everyone else. But yeah, I did experiment with getting on the phone and just recording, um, the screen and the team and how it's all going. So I'm probably be able to pull that off while I'm in Europe. Probably won't be able to do the stock market and stuff. So there will be a small hiatus on that for a couple of weeks. But I'll get back around Origin 3, and then we'll really look at the players and stuff for the run home. So yeah, just wanted to make those of you watching aware of that. So hopefully, I don't lose a heap of subscribers and stuff, but it doesn't really matter if I do. Like I said, I was expecting 10. So, if I've got more than that after the trip, I'll still be a pretty happy guy. Might be too relaxed to care anyway. Yeah, so I think that covers all the bases of what I wanted to look at today. So if you've got any thoughts about, my team, how it's gone this year, what it should look like moving forward. Also, the YouTube channel, if there's anything you want to see in particular, or things that you are enjoying and want to continue, or things you aren't enjoying and want to stop, let me know. And I'll do my best to accommodate there. But yeah, if you are enjoying all the content, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff gets it out there for more people to enjoy. And other than that, I'll catch you in the next one.